Every morning, what do you wake up with excitement or heaviness? Do you pick up your phone, scroll through negative news, compare yourself to others, and let the rest of the day spiral into exhaustion? If so, perhaps you've surrendered control of your mind to the world around you. But the Stoics were different. They did not begin their day with noise, but with awareness. They did not ask, "What will life bring to me today?" but rather, "What will I bring to life today?" In this video, you will discover 9 morning reminders that Stoic philosophers have lived by for thousands of years. Timeless principles, powerful enough to restore order to your mind, helping you start each day with intention, calm, and resilience. These are not merely inspirational quotes. They are spiritual weapons for battling the chaos of the modern world. Stay until the end, because even one of these 9 reminders, if truly understood and practiced, can transform the way you see life every single morning. 1. Every day is a new beginning. Take a deep breath. Feel the morning air gently touch your skin. No matter how chaotic yesterday was, no matter what mistakes you made, how many disappointments you faced, or how many times you fell today, is still a new beginning. It is a gift life grants equally to all of us. Stoic philosophy teaches that every day is an opportunity to recreate oneself. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, philosopher, and man who endured war, plague, and betrayal, once wrote in Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Reflect on that. The very fact that you can wake up, breathe, and feel is already a privilege. Each morning is a blank page, and no one can write upon it but you. Many people awaken with heaviness in their hearts. They carry yesterday's past, its mistakes, regrets, and burdens, and turn them into chains that bind the present. But those who live with a Stoic spirit understand the past is a lesson, not a sentence. Seneca once wrote in Letters from a Stoic, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." An ending is not a loss, it is the soil in which new seeds are planted. Today is not a repetition of yesterday unless you choose to make it so. Each morning, ask yourself, who do I want to become today? This simple question is the beginning of self-mastery. The Stoic does not let emotions, circumstances, or other people define who they are. They govern themselves through reason, through action, through awareness. Do not let your mind remain trapped in what has been. Epictetus once said, "We cannot begin to learn that which we think we already know." If today you believe you've seen it all, tried it all, or failed enough, you will miss your greatest opportunity, the chance to learn how to live anew. Step into this morning as if you have never lived before, as if you know nothing and everything is possible. Each day is a new beginning, but it will only truly be new if you dare to let go of the old version of yourself. Let go of the expectation that everything must be perfect. Let go of the need to fix the past. Let go of self-blame, for it only weighs down the mind. Instead, choose to be reborn in every thought, in every action. Rebirth does not mean forgetting what was, but using it as the foundation for what will be. Like a sculptor working with metal, you refine your soul through your past mistakes, polishing it to be brighter and stronger. Imagine if today were the very first day you ever existed. No one knows who you are. No one judges you. No one expects anything. You can rewrite the entire story. You can change the way you think, the way you respond, the way you live. Every morning carries within it the seed of a new life, and you are the one who plants it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." It is a gentle yet profound awakening. Time is finite, and if you are still breathing, still capable of action, then today is the most precious opportunity to live not for yesterday, not for tomorrow, but for this very moment. So, when the sun rises, do not merely wake up, awaken. Do not just begin a new day, begin a new life. And when you are ready for that journey, remember this: a new beginning only becomes meaningful when you believe in your own potential, the very belief that will lead us to the next reminder. 2. You are capable of greatness. There is a quiet power that resides within every human being, not loud, not boastful, but strong enough to change the course of an entire life. That power is your ability to achieve greatness, and it begins with the belief that you can. Stoicism does not teach us to become superhuman. It teaches us to recognize that we already possess the strength required to live an extraordinary life. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself in Meditations, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look there." Read that again, slowly. Look well into yourself. Every answer you seek about strength, willpower, or direction does not lie outside of you, but within. Yet, to see it, you must pause. You must dare to face yourself. You must trust that deep within your soul lies the ability to do far more than you have ever believed possible. The truth is, most people are not weak, they have simply forgotten their own strength. They look at their failures and mistake them for limits. They compare themselves to others and conclude they are not enough. But as Epictetus taught in his discourses, you are not your body and hair, but your will, and if your will is good, then you are good. It is will, not circumstance, not status, not praise that measures the true strength of a human being. The Stoics believed that as long as our will is directed toward virtue and our actions guided by discipline, we can transform anything. You do not need to wait until you are good enough to begin. It is through action that you become better. You do not need anyone's approval to pursue your dream. It is the pursuit itself that proves your worth. Seneca once wrote in Letters from a Stoic, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. We do not fear because the path is hard. The path feels hard because we have not yet dared to walk it. But when you dare, everything changes. Dare to step outside your comfort zone. Dare to act before you feel ready. Dare to fail so that you may learn how to rise stronger. Your inner strength does not emerge in times of ease, it awakens in adversity." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "In the midst of war and loss, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What obstructs you is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Each obstacle is a test, revealing the abilities you never knew you had." Think about it. Every time you overcome fear, you grow stronger. Every time you persist without seeing results, you build endurance. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you sharpen your will. Each of these moments, small as they may seem, is proof that you are capable of greatness. The Stoic never says, "I can't." They say, "I can't yet, but I am training so that I can." They do not pray for luck. They cultivate inner strength so that when opportunity comes, they are prepared. So remind yourself each morning, I do not need to be the best. I only need to be better than I was yesterday. Every small step forward is proof that greatness is growing within me. Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live. No one is born strong, but everyone has the capacity to become strong as long as they keep learning, keep training, and keep acting." You carry within you the same power that Marcus Aurelius once held, the power of discipline, will, and courage. You only need to choose to use it. For greatness does not come from grand gestures, but from thousands of small, consistent acts performed with intention. And when you begin to believe in that power, remember, belief alone is not enough. You must master yourself, for true strength only holds meaning when you can command your own thoughts and emotions. 3. No one can disturb your peace unless you allow it. There is a silent battle that takes place every day, not out in the world, but within your own mind. It is the battle between reason and emotion, between calm and reaction, between the person you wish to become and the impulses of anger, fear, or anxiety that try to pull you back. Stoic philosophy teaches that the greatest victory in life is not conquering others, it is conquering yourself. Epictetus, once a slave who became a master of inner freedom, wrote in his discourses, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. He can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by him." This single truth forms the foundation of all Stoic philosophy. When you grow angry, when you react, you hand over control of your mind to someone else. You allow them to manipulate your emotions with a few words, a glance, or an action. But a Stoic mind does not grant such power. A Stoic chooses response over reaction. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself in Meditations, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. It is not events that cause your suffering, it is your judgment of them. An insult holds no power unless you give it meaning. A failure is not terrifying unless you define it as defeat. Every negative emotion requires your permission to exist." That is why Stoics train their thoughts as soldiers train with their swords. They watch emotions come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. They do not deny their emotions, but they do not let emotions command them either. Seneca once wrote in Letters from a Stoic, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Most of our pain does not come from the world itself, but from what we imagine about it. We invent tragedies that have not happened, replay old wounds as if they were fresh, and let our minds wander through worst-case scenarios that are not real. Instead of living, we merely react to illusions of our own making. Mastering your thoughts does not mean never feeling sadness, anger, or fear. It means recognizing those emotions when they arise and choosing how to respond. You may feel anger, but you need not act on it. You may feel fear, but you can still move forward. You may feel hurt, but you need not let it destroy your kindness. Epictetus taught in the Enchiridion, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This may sound simple, yet it is the compass of true freedom. Once you realize that reaction is a choice, you are no longer a victim of emotion. You become the master of your own mind. Reflect on your day. How many times have you allowed someone or something to steal your calm? How many times has a small incident ruled your mood for hours? Each time you do, you surrender your power to the external. Take it back. The Stoic practices the art of pause. When emotions rise, they pause for just a moment. In that space of stillness, reason has a chance to enter. When attacked, they breathe and remind themselves, these are only words. When life turns chaotic, they whisper, I still command my thoughts. And in that instant, they have already won. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. True strength does not come from muscle or status, but from the ability to remain calm in the midst of storms. When you master your thoughts and emotions, you are no longer swept away by crowds, by headlines, or by the words of others. You stand firm as stone, unshaken by the world's turbulence. So, begin practicing this every morning. Before the world reaches you, reach yourself first. Take a deep breath and affirm, "No one can disturb my peace unless I allow it." For only when you rule your own mind are you truly free. And once you are free from the grip of negative emotions, you will begin to see another truth, that you are worthy of the peace, happiness, and success life is ready to offer you. 4. Your worth is not measured by others' opinions. There is a paradox in modern life. The more people achieve in status, wealth, or recognition, the emptier they often feel. Why? Because they mistake their worth for their achievements, believing that value is something granted by others. Yet in Stoic philosophy, true worth does not come from the outside. It arises from one's inner virtue and moral character. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Though written nearly 2,000 years ago, his words are as true today as ever. We claim to love ourselves, yet we care far more about how others see us. We chase approval, likes, titles, compliments, forgetting that none of these can define who we truly are. Epictetus taught in his discourses, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. If you seek growth, be willing to be misunderstood, unacknowledged, even judged. Because the truth is, you do not live to please anyone." The Stoic knows that peace and self-worth exist only when one lives according to reason and virtue, not the shifting opinions of the crowd. Seneca wrote in Letters from a Stoic, "A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. If you cannot approve of yourself, every external success becomes hollow. A person may be rich, famous, and powerful, but if he does not feel worthy, all he possesses is an empty shell." True happiness, in the Stoic sense, does not come from having more, but from realizing that you are already enough. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You do not need to be brilliant to be respected. You simply need to live in alignment with your highest virtues: honesty, kindness, steadiness, and courage. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. The condition for happiness does not lie in circumstance, it lies in perception. When you stop comparing, when you stop seeking validation, you begin to feel free, a freedom no wealth or fame could ever buy. Think about it. How many times have you delayed your own joy because you felt not good enough? How many times have you said, "I'll be happy when I achieve this, when they recognize me, when I'm more successful"? Yet when you finally achieve it, the happiness fades quickly because it depends on something outside yourself. The Stoics invite us to shift our perspective. Success does not make you worthy living with virtue, and purpose does. Epictetus reminded us in the Enchiridion, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The richest person is not the one who has the most, but the one who knows they already have enough. Likewise, the happiest person is not the one praised by everyone, but the one who needs no praise to feel at peace. Each morning, tell yourself, "I do not need to become someone else to be loved. I do not need to prove anything to be accepted. I am already worthy because I live with honesty, kindness, and effort." When you truly believe in your inner worth, you stop striving to find happiness. You become it. And in that state, you realize that worth is not something you wait for or seek. It is something you express through action. So carry this belief with you into each new day and remind yourself, happiness does not come to the best. It comes to those who dare to act with the purest heart. 5. Action turns dreams into reality. There is a thin but dangerous gap between knowing and doing. Everyone knows they should change, begin, and live better, yet only a few actually act. Stoicism teaches that knowledge holds no value unless transformed into action, for only action creates true transformation. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Do not talk endlessly about becoming good, be good. Do not keep thinking about changing, start changing." Stoicism is not an abstract theory, but a philosophy of practice, where every thought must be tested through daily action. The Stoic understands that time is our most precious resource. Seneca warned in On the Shortness of Life, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. It is not that we lack time, it is that we squander it by procrastinating, by waiting for the perfect moment, by speaking without doing. But the perfect moment never arrives." Every great achievement begins with a small act done today, repeated with discipline and persistence. Epictetus reminded us in his discourses, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. First, decide who you wish to become, then act as that person would. That is the principle of lasting change. You do not need inspiration to begin. Inspiration is what follows after you begin." Imagine if Marcus Aurelius had only written his reflections but never lived them amid the chaos of war. Would he be remembered as a philosopher king? No. It was his actions, his courage to live the truths he wrote, that gave his philosophy eternal weight. And what about you? How many times have you woken with grand intentions, only to let them fade back into imagination? How many times have you said, "I'll start tomorrow," and watched tomorrow turn into next week? The Stoic does not wait for favorable conditions, they create opportunity through immediate action. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do every act of your life as though it were the last." If today were your final day, how much longer would you hesitate? Would you still postpone what matters most? Or would you act with awareness, focus, and courage? Begin small. Action need not be grand, only consistent. A single written line, a page read, a phone call made, a decisive choice. These small steps, repeated daily, carry you to places others only dream of. Epictetus said it clearly, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Do not explain your philosophy, live it." Each action is a declaration of who you are becoming. When you rise early to train, when you stay disciplined at work, when you speak less and do more, you turn philosophy into living power. Remind yourself each morning, "I cannot control outcomes, but I can control my actions today." And as the Stoics believed, right action, no matter how small, always leads to peace of mind. Seneca once wrote a simple but piercing truth. While we are postponing, life speeds by. While we delay, life moves on. And every passing moment is an opportunity that will never return. So do not wait for inspiration. Do not wait for perfection. Begin now. The actions you take today do more than shape tomorrow. They shape you. And when you start acting with gratitude instead of complaint, you will discover that every step, no matter how small, carries profound meaning. 6. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. When you open your eyes each morning, you face two choices: to begin the day by complaining about what you lack, or to give thanks for all that you already have. Stoic philosophy urges us to choose the latter. Gratitude for it is the foundation of inner peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." He did not speak of grand achievements, but of simple blessings, the ability to breathe, to think, to love. These are miracles we often forget, blinded by a life of constant wanting. The Stoic understands that life owes us nothing, and it is precisely this realization that allows them to feel gratitude for everything, even adversity. Seneca wrote in Letters from a Stoic, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." The wise do not mourn what they lack, they rejoice in what they possess. Gratitude is not the denial of hardship, but a conscious decision to focus on what is good amid imperfection. When you are grateful, you stop seeing life through the lens of scarcity and begin to see it through the lens of abundance. Complaining is a natural human reflex, but also an invisible chain. Each complaint reinforces the belief that the world is against you. Gratitude, on the other hand, strengthens the belief that the world is helping you grow. Epictetus taught in his discourses, "Do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and you will go on well." Not. Do not demand that life bend to your will. Instead, learn to welcome it as it unfolds. When we stop resisting reality, we begin to see its hidden beauty. A Stoic does not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but "What is this trying to teach me?" That is gratitude in motion. Gratitude is also a means of reclaiming mastery over the mind. You cannot be both grateful and hopeless, both appreciative and angry. When the mind turns toward gratitude, negativity begins to dissolve. You cease to be haunted by what is missing and instead are uplifted by what is present. Try this each morning. Before reaching for your phone, write down 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small. It might be the sunlight warming your face, the comfort of a warm cup of coffee, or simply the fact that you have another chance to live and to grow. These simple acknowledgements, repeated daily, will quietly reshape the way you see the world. Marcus Aurelius also reminded himself, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And gratitude is the quickest way to purify those thoughts, to reveal what is positive amidst the storm. When you are grateful, you no longer need the world to change for you to feel calm. You become calm yourself. There is a profound truth in Stoic practice. Gratitude is not a fleeting emotion, but a form of discipline. The Stoics trained it daily, especially when life did not go their way. When they lost, they were grateful for having once possessed. When they failed, they were grateful for the lesson. When betrayed, they were grateful for the clarity it brought. Seneca captured this spirit perfectly when he wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart. No virtue is greater than a heart filled with gratitude." Such a person is not easily swayed by envy, anger, or dissatisfaction. They grow steady, composed, and free from the endless comparisons that plague modern life. And when you practice gratitude long enough, you realize this truth. Life has never been lacking. It is our restless minds that fail to notice its abundance. Each morning, choose gratitude, not because everything is perfect, but because imperfection itself makes you wiser, stronger, and more alive. For a grateful mind knows no fear. It only knows how to move forward even when the path is uncertain. And that is when we need the next reminder. Do not fear failure. 7. Failure is the teacher of strength. The Stoics did not seek an easy life. They sought a mind strong enough to remain steady in the face of hardship. In their world, failure was never an ending. It was an essential part of the journey towards strength and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles do not block the path, they are the path. What stands before you is not a barrier, but a test to see whether you are worthy of the road you've chosen." In the Stoic spirit, failure is the stern but honest teacher that success could never be. It teaches endurance, humility, and inner clarity. Seneca echoed this truth in Letters from a Stoic. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Just as muscle grows under strain, the mind matures through failure. The Stoic does not flee from the pain of mistakes. They observe it, learn from it, and move forward. Epictetus, who lived much of his early life as a slave, understood this better than anyone. He wrote in his discourses, "No great thing is created suddenly. Nothing truly great is built overnight. Every achievement stands upon countless small defeats, and each failure is a brick laid in the foundation of wisdom." What sets the Stoics apart is how they see failure. Where others see an ending, they see an opportunity to practice virtue. Where others feel shame, they find a lesson in humility. Where others fall and despair, they find a moment to train their will. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Loss is nothing else but change. and change is nature's delight. Well, failure is not loss, it is transformation. And transformation is the most natural process in the universe. When we stop resisting it, we learn to turn every failure into a step forward. The fear of failure does not come from failure itself, but from the ego, the part of us terrified of judgment, of being seen as inadequate, of losing the image we have built. Yet, Epictetus made it clear in the Enchiridion, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. It is not failure that defeats you, but your response to it. The Stoic faces failure with calm and reason. Instead of asking, "Why me?" they ask, "What can I learn from this?" They know that failure is temporary, but giving up is permanent. Think of the process of forging steel. Fire does not weaken the metal, it strengthens it. Likewise, failure does not break a person unless they choose not to rise again. Seneca once declared, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. A gem must endure friction to shine, and a person must face trials to become whole." When viewed rightly, failure is not a curse, but a tool that refines the soul. So rather than fearing failure, learn to work with it. Every fall is a reminder, you are still alive. You still have a chance to rise. Be grateful for your stumbles. They are teaching you patience, resilience, and clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." The universe is always changing, and your life is shaped by how you perceive that change. If you see failure as the end, you stop moving. But if you see it as the first step of a new beginning, you keep growing. And when you learn to walk through failure without fear, a beautiful truth emerges. Every fall has been shaping you. Every challenge, every mistake, every setback, all of it is crafting a stronger, calmer, and wiser version of you. For as the Stoics believed, there is no true failure if you continue to learn. And in that quiet, unseen process of learning, you are becoming greater every single day, silently but profoundly. 8. Growth is silent but powerful. Growth is not a moment of achievement, it is a journey. Slow, sometimes painful, but always moving forward. The Stoics understood that true transformation does not come through sudden leaps, but through the quiet repetition of small, intentional choices each day, even when no one else can see the results. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Nothing great is created in an instant. A fig must go through its stages, to blossom, to bear fruit, to ripen. So too must we." Growth is a natural process. It cannot be forced. It cannot be rushed. Yet in our hurried age, we grow restless when we have not yet succeeded or changed enough. But the Stoic does not measure growth by visible results. They measure it by inner progress. Every time you respond calmly to an insult, show patience in difficulty, or act with courage in fear, you are growing. Epictetus taught in his discourses, "Progress is not achieved by luck or accident, but by working on yourself daily." Progress is not the gift of fortune, it is the fruit of daily practice. Every small choice to speak kindly, to stay composed, to work with diligence, to live with purpose, lays another brick in the foundation of your character. Seneca wrote in Letters from a Stoic, "We become wiser by adversity. Prosperity destroys our appreciation of the right. It is adversity that shapes us. Ease, without awareness, breeds complacency. But challenge, though painful, deepens our understanding of ourselves. Each time you fail, stumble, and rise again, you do not return to where you began. You return stronger, wiser, more aware." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle is the path. Every difficulty, faced with reason and perseverance, becomes a tool for refinement. You do not merely overcome your problems, you become someone capable of facing greater ones. Look back at yourself a year ago. Perhaps you no longer react as impulsively. Perhaps you fear less the things that once unsettled you. You have learned to accept, to release, to wait. That is growth, quiet but unshakable. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Each day that you gain a little more control over your emotions, and you react a little less to what does not matter, you move closer to inner freedom, and that process has no final destination. The Stoic does not strive for perfection only to be a little better today than yesterday. Trust that even if you cannot yet see the change, it is happening. Like the bamboo that spends years growing roots before it ever rises above the soil, human beings need time to build their inner foundation before their outer growth becomes visible. Seneca reminded us, "It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. The rugged path is the one that leads upward." Each challenge, each small act of discipline, each right decision, all are steps on that ascent. And one day, when you look back, you will see how far you've come. Growth makes no noise. It does not seek applause. It is simply the courage to keep going through exhaustion, through doubt, through silence. That is the highest virtue of the Stoic, to remain steadfast in the journey, not for the reward, but for the meaning found in becoming better than before. And when you finally recognize that you are growing each day, you will realize an even deeper truth, that you have always been enough, even as you continue to evolve. 9. You are whole, even while becoming. On the journey of self-improvement, we often forget one essential truth. You do not need to become someone else to be worthy of love, respect, or peace. Stoic philosophy teaches that a person's value does not come from achievement, appearance, or recognition, but from the reason and virtue that already dwell within. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Dig within. Within is the wellspring of good, and it is always ready to bubble up if you just dig. Look within yourself. The source of goodness and strength has always been there, waiting for you to uncover it. You do not need to search for wholeness in the world outside it, already exists inside you." The world may make you doubt yourself, but Stoicism will always remind you that you are already enough, even when you are not yet perfect. Epictetus affirmed in his discourses, "You are a distinct portion of the essence of God and contain a certain part of Him in yourself." Each human being is part of the divine order, the universal reason what the Stoics called logos. This means that even in moments of weakness, you still carry the light of wisdom and virtue within you. You are not separate from the universe. You belong to it. When you realize this, the feelings of inadequacy and inferiority begin to fade. We live in an age of endless comparison. We see others succeed, smile, and shine, and we wonder, why not me? It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. We claim to love ourselves, yet let others' opinions define our worth. The Stoics saw this as a form of mental slavery, for when you allow others to determine your value, you surrender your inner freedom, the very thing Stoicism teaches us to protect above all else. Seneca wrote in Letters from a Stoic, "A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. You will never find peace if you do not first accept yourself." And acceptance does not mean complacency. It means embracing yourself, strengths and flaws alike. You may still be a work in progress, but that does not make you any less worthy than anyone else. Epictetus reminded his students in the Enchiridion, "Remember that you are an actor in a drama, of such kind as the author pleases to make it. Your life is a play, and you are performing the role that the universe has written for you. There is no need to envy someone else's part, nor to become anyone but yourself. Only by playing your role with sincerity and courage does your story find its meaning." The Stoics believed that tranquility begins when we stop fighting ourselves. When you accept that you do not need to be better than anyone to have value, you free your energy from comparison and direct it towards something greater, living with virtue and purpose. Marcus Aurelius also wrote this deeply humane reminder, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. There is no sanctuary more peaceful than your own soul. When you stop striving to prove that you are enough, you begin to feel that peace. It does not depend on circumstance. It arises when you are reconciled with yourself. Remember, I am enough does not mean I am perfect. It means I am learning, I am growing, and I am worthy even in the process of becoming. You may continue to evolve, to improve, to transform, but do so out of love, not out of the need to prove your worth." Seneca wrote, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." Every day is a new chance to live authentically, without pretending, without comparing, without judgment. When you live like this, you are not only enough, you are free. And once you discover that wholeness within, you no longer chase the world. You begin to walk through life lightly, calmly, and steadily embodying the very essence of Stoicism, a mind undisturbed, even as the world shifts around it. When you understand that you are already enough, you no longer need to run from yourself. You will find that serene stillness Marcus Aurelius called the inner citadel, the fortress of the soul that nothing can break. So, hold on to that stillness and let it guide you into every morning as a free human being. And these are the 9 reminders to begin each day with, not to chase perfection, but to return to yourself. Each reminder is a seed planted in the mind, nurturing your inner peace, courage, and steadfastness, the very virtues the Stoics saw as the foundation of true freedom. Remember, you cannot control the world, but you can always control your mind. Each morning is a new beginning, a chance to start again, to live slower, deeper, and more consciously. No matter what yesterday held, today you have a choice, the choice to awaken, to act, and to be at peace. If this message resonates with you, share in the comments which of these 9 truths awakened you most deeply. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell to continue your journey of mastering the mind and living in the spirit of Stoicism. Thank you for spending this morning with me. Now step out into the world with stillness in your soul and fire in your heart. See you in the next video.